I got serious problems with dancing. I got serious white boy disease going on. Thank you, Donald Trump, for a dance that I can actually emulate. Great to see you guys. Woo! It's so good to see you guys, too. My name is Gary Brecka. Come on, the younger generation getting healthy up in here. Come on now. Guys, my name is Gary Brecka. I'm a human biologist, a biohacker, and a researcher. And for 22 years, I was a mortality researcher for large life insurance companies. And a mortality researcher means that if I got 10 years of medical records on you and 10 years of demographic data, the team that I was associated with could predict your life expectancy to the month. And I get a lot of flack for saying that. People say if you could predict life expectancy to the month, you would have won a Nobel Prize, and I've never won a Nobel Prize. But I promise you, it is some of the most accurate research in the world. You want to know how accurate life insurance and annuity companies are at predicting death? Just look at what happened during the 2008 and 2009 financial services crisis. We had 364 banks fail. Not a single life insurance company failed. No other financial services enterprise takes that level of risk on a single variable. How many more months a human being has left on Earth? And I always used to say, if that database that I had access to could see the light of day, and unfortunately it never will, it would permanently change the face of humanity. It would upend modern medicine in a way that would be catastrophic. You see, we've been misled. We are not as sick or as diseased or as pathological as you think you are. Human beings are nutrient deficient. You see, we believe this in we believe this in plant physiology. If any of you had a palm tree in your house and the leaf was rotting in the palm tree, and you called a true arborist, a true botanist out to your house, and you showed them that leaf, they wouldn't touch the leaf, they would core test the soil. And they would say, you know what, there's no nitrogen in this soil. They would add nitrogen to the soil and the leaf would heal. Human beings are no different. When you deprive the human body of the raw material that it needs to do its job, you get the expression of disease. The United States is the largest spender of healthcare worldwide. We spend $4.5 trillion a year on healthcare. We lead the world now in 7 things: infant mortality, maternal mortality, the lowest life expectancy of the next 66 civilized nations at birth, morbid obesity, type 2 diabetes, and multiple chronic diseases in a single biome. And this is because it begins in our soil and ends at our table. I am out here to get the message out that we should believe more in what God gave us than what man makes us. And so, thank you. Guys, are they seeing that slide? Oh, there it is. You know what this chart is? There's a quiz on this in 20 minutes, so please pay attention. I need you all to commit this to memory. What this slide is showing you, this is a slide of what is going on inside your cellular biology. This process is going on inside of every single human being in this room 300 billion times a day. Because when you woke up this morning, 300 billion cells that were with you yesterday are not with you today. We have 32 trillion cells, and every 84 days, all of the cellular structures, the live cellular structures, for the most part, turn over, which means 84 days from today, you will be a completely different cellular human being. So you tell me, what can we not heal from? Why have we lost the faith in humanity and mankind and the body's ability to heal itself and the power that this has over this? The reason why I show you this chart of cellular biology is because what you will not see on this chart are chemicals, you will not see synthetics, and you will not see pharmaceuticals. You will see nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and amino acids. All human beings, every single person in this room needs exactly the same thing. You need 91 essential minerals. You need 8 essential amino acids, and you need 2 essential fatty acids. If you are missing any one of those things, you get the expression of disease. And now you are told you have a mental illness, you have an autoimmune disorder, you have gut dysbiosis, you have thyroid condition, you have hypertension or high blood pressure, or even worse, you are told that because the disease or the condition runs in your family, that you genetically inherited the disease that you need to now subscribe to a lifetime of medication for. The next time a physician tells you that you inherited the disease from your ancestor, that you have high blood pressure because your uncle or your aunt or your father has it, or you have diabetes because your mother or your father or your uncle had it, I want you to look them in the face and say, if I inherited this from my ancestor, what gene did they pass to me that caused this condition to exist? And you watch their face go blank. Because infrequently and almost never do those genes exist. We do not pass disease from generation to generation. We pass the inability for the body to refine a raw material. We are nutrient deficient. We are mineral deficient. We are amino acid and vitamin deficient. And usually when I take a stage like this, by the grace of God, I will offer the audience a chance to tell me any ailment that they are suffering from. And we will talk about what deficiency could be going on in that body that could be causing the expression of that disease. And so I feel incredibly blessed to be associated with this Make America Healthy Again movement. Finally, someone has the intestinal fortitude to stand up for the corruption in our food supply, for the corruption that controls our public policy nutritional research and gives us a food pyramid that says that Lucky Charms is more nutritious than grass-fed steak. And that is the research that determines the public policy that feeds our children and has led to the highest rates of childhood cancer in recorded history. Sadly, the United States now, as of December 6th, and don't worry, I'm not like Hulk Hogan it or anything, I'm just getting a little hot, right? You don't want to see me with my shirt off. Sadly, woo! I got a woo in the back. If I get enough woos, I'll take it right off, come on. Whoa. You guys are a bunch of freaks. What kind of conservative convention is there? You want the dude ripping his shirt off on stage? Wow, you dirty little varmints, you. All right, maybe at the end. I didn't work out this morning either. I would have been back there doing some push-ups, for the love of God. The United States is now sadly ranked 66th in the world behind many sub-Saharan African nations. These are nations that do not have clean water or sanitation. Why is this? Why do we lead the world in chronic disease, morbid obesity, the lowest life expectancy on earth? It is because we have been misled that we need chemicals and synthetics and pharmaceuticals to thrive. The truth is this: the further that we get from Mother Nature, the sicker we become. If you look at the Blue Zone research, there's no continuity in diets. It wasn't keto or paleo or pescatarian or vegan or vegetarian or carnivore. It wasn't a dogmatic diet. You know what it was? It was whole foods. That's what they were eating. Whole, real foods. You can look up the research. You go to Sardinia, the highest carbohydrate consumption in the world, one of the longest life expectancies. In Singapore, one of the highest meat consumptions in the world and one of the longest life expectancies. The Mediterranean, very high fatty fish and oil consumption, long life expectancies. And then the French are screwing the whole thing up because they're smoking cigarettes and drinking wine and living forever. Right? So if you're French, good for you. But the truth is, it is whole foods. But you know what was consistent in the longest life expectancies on earth? Sense of community, a sense of purpose, and mobility into later in life. So why is it that we have pulled physical education out of our public school system? Why is it that 66% of the diets of prepubescent teens are entirely highly processed foods? How is it the American Association says that heart-healthy oils are oils that are seed oils that are compressed in a compressor, that come out gummy, that are degummed with hexane, a neurotoxin, heated to 405 degrees, then turned rancid, and then deodorized with sodium hydroxide, a powerful carcinogen, and then put on the shelves with heart-healthy labels for the public to consume? Yeah. So, guys, please support Robert Kennedy and the rest of, and Donald Trump. And those of us that are willing to risk our careers and our reputations, because you're going to see the media turn on me very soon. I run the largest media platform in the world for wellness and longevity. And my father, who's a Navy captain, Captain John Brecka, says, if you don't stand for something, you stand for nothing. So today I am publicly standing behind this movement. Finally, we have someone with the intestinal fortitude to stand up to the corruption in our food supply, the corruption in our nutritional research, and the corruption at our Federal Drug Administration, the Food and Drug Administration. Guys, 18% of our teenagers. How many of you are under 18 years old? Raise your, woo, love you guys. Yeah! He's like he won the lottery. I love it. I love you guys. I love you guys. Come on, dog. So that's it. That's the future of America right there. 18% of our teenagers have fatty liver disease, which is a condition that did not even exist a generation ago. That's, by the way, our National Institute of Health published that. Our Centers for Disease Control say that nearly 30% of teens are pre-diabetic. 30% of our teens are pre-diabetic. And possibly the most disturbing statistic of all comes from our U.S. Department of Defense. 77% of young military-aged adults do not qualify for military service due to their poor health. Who does not think that this is a national security issue? Guys, we have 4 years, and by the grace of God, during this 4 years, with the right administration, which I believe that we have, we can make a difference. We can change public policy, and we can make America healthy again. So, woo! I love you guys, man. You guys. Normally, when if I talk about vaccines, religion, Jesus, or politics, I just get booed right off the stage. But I love you guys. I feel like we could talk about Jesus. Yeah. Oh, people are standing for that one. Yeah, it was saved 24 years ago to Promise Keepers Convention. I'm not even sure if Promise Keepers is still around, but that's the route I took. But guys, my advice to you, and then I want to open the floor to some questions. My advice to you is to get back in touch with Mother Nature. We get 3 things from Mother Nature. We get 3 things that God planted in the earth. We get magnetism from the earth. We get oxygen from the air, and we get light from the sun. The magnetism from the earth is called earthing or grounding, and it is very real. It is not voodoo or boohoo science. It is actually very real. Think about the last time that you had bare feet, touching bare soil, dirt, grass, or sand. That is the last time as a human being you discharged into the earth. We know that if we want to keep our bodies alkaline, that is a disease-free state, versus acidic, which is a disease-prone state, we want our pH of our blood to be high. We want to be more alkaline. It is a complete fallacy that you can get alkaline by drinking alkaline water. But you know what does put a charge into the body? The magnetism, the low Gauss current of the earth that God provided. So take your shoes off and touch the surface of the earth. It's free. I wish I could sell it to you, but it's free. We get oxygen from the air. The one thing that we realized in the mortality space after 22 years of research was, again, that the reason why people were not living longer, healthier, happier lives was because of modifiable risk factors, not the absence of chemicals or synthetics or pharmaceuticals. It was modifiable risk factors. The second was that all human beings leave this earth exactly the same way. Everyone in this room will pass of the same thing. It is called hypoxia. It is lack of oxygen to the brain. Now, it might be a heart attack, a gunshot wound, a bus, a stroke, but you will be defined to be dead once your brain can no longer sustain that activity. We are slowly suffocating to death. After 30 years old, 90% of the people in this room will never sprint again for the rest of your life. Your auxiliary muscles of respiration begin to atrophy. And for free, you could wake up every morning and just deep breathe again. In fact, you want to know a breathwork exercise that'll raise your mood, elevate your emotional state, get your blood going, and flood your brain with oxygen? How many of you would do that with me right now? All right, it's going to sound really creepy in here for a second. So I want all the people that are outside that wonder what's going on, I want them to think it's just a giant cult going on in here. So here we go. Sit comfortably. All we're going to do is we're going to take 3 obnoxiously deep breaths like you never thought you were going to breathe again. In through your nose like this. You're going to hold and you're going to go out through a straw. You're going to take a second one. You're going to hold and you're going to go out through a straw. And now you're going to take your last one. Ready? You're going to hold and you're going to go out through a straw. If you just started every morning doing 3 rounds of 5 deep breaths and working your way up to 5 rounds of 30 deep breaths, you would change the entire trajectory of your life. And the last thing that we have gotten so distanced from is the sun. 85% of the surface of the world's population is clinically deficient in a nutrient called vitamin D3. When God made human beings, he made us with the ability to make one vitamin. We make it from sunlight and cholesterol. It's called cholecalciferol. It is vitamin D3 and is arguably the most important nutrient in the human body. And statistics say that 85% of this room is clinically deficient in that. We have been taught to fear the sun. The truth is that most of us are not getting enough sun. It's not that we're getting too much sun. If you actually were to chart the incidence of skin cancer's parabolic rise, it would be superimposable with the use of sunscreen. Since 2018, 23 brands of sunscreen have been pulled from the market for directly causing skin cancer, and we have been taught to fear what God gave us, right? So my message is a message of hope. I will do everything behind the scenes with my platform and my voice to make America healthy again. And I deeply, I really love you guys. And so, dude, you guys are out yelling these guys over here. And so I always like to take a few minutes. Normally my stage talks are a lot longer, but I'd love to take a few minutes and take the last few minutes of my speech, and I'd love to turn it over to the crowd and answer any questions that you might have. Right back there with the light.
Stand right.
Yes, sir.
I got it.
Hi, my name is Austin, and I've heard a lot, and especially in school, about like mental health. Could you elaborate on how like some specific ingredients are really poisoning our minds?
I'll give you one real fast, yes. So we spray our food supply with a chemical called folic acid. We've been told that folic acid is a natural vitamin, vitamin B9. It's not. We make it in a laboratory. Folic acid does not exist anywhere on the surface of the earth. You cannot find folic acid anywhere in Mother Nature. Folate exists in Mother Nature. What's the first thing that we tell a pregnant woman to do when she gets pregnant? Take high doses of what? Folic acid. Why are we giving pregnant women a man-made chemical that didn't even exist until the 80s something and calling it absolutely necessary for a healthy pregnancy? Folate and something called methylfolate. I'll tell you another quick one. In the United States, we are required to spray our entire grain supply, all flour, all rice, all bread, all pasta, and grains of any kind, including cereals of any kind, with the chemical folic acid. Although we don't call it sprayed with folic acid, we call it fortified or enriched. So fortified or enriched foods we feed to our children. Half of the population has a gene mutation that does not allow them to process that. Do you know what happens when you put high amounts of something into the human body that it can't process? It goes dysfunctional. And then we send our kid to school after it's a full contact sport to get them in the car to go to school, and the phone call comes home and they say little Johnny can't pay attention and he doesn't follow directions and he doesn't listen. We need to bring in the Adderall or the Ritalin to solve this. We need to take his little mind that's racing, and instead of calming his mind, we need to go into his central nervous system and break it and race the central nervous system with amphetamines to match the pace of the mind. That's the solution. No, the solution is get the folic acid, the fortified and enriched nutrients, fake chemicals out of their diet and watch their behavior change, right? We don't get a flat tire and then get out of our car and slash our other 3 tires to create equilibrium. So why would we break a system in the body that's not broken to match one that is? Guys, I've got 18 seconds. I just wanted to, I'll see if we can squeeze one in really quick.
So the University of Newcastle estimates that the American has 1 credit card's worth of microplastic in their body at a given time. What's the most efficient way to expel these from your bloodstream?
Activate your natural detoxification mechanisms through dry sauna. Guys, we can sweat. We don't just eliminate waste through stool and urine, we actually can eliminate it through our skin. The data on sauna is in. It will reduce all-cause mortality. It improves your risk of cardiovascular disease and is one of the best ways that God gave us to eliminate waste from our body. Guys, thank you so much for your time.